Hey guys, I'm back with a video for you in honor of the Braves clinching the National League East and in honor of there being 19 tables of bridge last night in the Open. That's fantastic. So this is hand three from Tuesday, September 22nd. It's a hand with a bunch of talking points from an auction standpoint and from a defense standpoint. There's actually something cool that happens on one line called a double squeeze from declarer's standpoint. So let's jump right into it. I've got the hand pulled up here, and it starts with two passes. North has 24 balanced and opens two clubs. My partner bid two diamonds, which is just tell me what you got. Now let's talk about a problem here that North is going to have. We want to limit our two no trump rebid. So with no trump bidding, you always want your point ranges to be pretty tight, right? That allows responder to be the captain and to decide the appropriate level for the contract. So when we rebid two no trump in a situation like this, it needs to be 22 or 23 or maybe kind of a weak 24. If we have more than that, we really want to do something different. We'll talk about what different. So I thought this hand was very much on the border between treating it as 22 to 24 and treating it as 24 plus, insisting on game no matter what responder has. I decided to go with the later camp, the camp that has 24 more points. That's what I wanted to sell to my partner. I like the 9 of spades, the 10 of hearts, the fact that I had all the suits stopped. I didn't like the fact that I didn't have a 5-card suit. So those were kind of the things that went into my calculus of deciding, hey, is this a rotten 24 or is it an okay 24 that I want to insist on game with? So the idea here is one way to do this to show the 20, 24, 25, or 26 point hand is to rebid 3 no trump with hands like that. The problem is you don't leave responder with any room to use stamen and transfers to search for the answer to the question, hey, does this hand belong in 3 no trump or does it belong in 4 of a major? Okay, so there's a little fix for that. It involves a little bit of science. This convention's called kokish. And the idea is anytime you have hearts, like a strong 2 in hearts, or you have 24 plus balanced, we're going to be rebidding 2 hearts. Okay, so this is either natural or it's a huge balanced hand. And partner is going to just bid the next step up, which is 2 spades. That asks what opener has. Opener rebids 2 no trump. And what we've said in English here is I've got a huge balanced hand. So much so that you can't pass. Okay, just drive us to the right contract here. Now, my partner wanted to check to see if I had 5 spades, okay, because it looks like 4 spades or maybe even 6 spades will be the right contract if I do. We play puppet stamen here, so his bid of 3 clubs asks about my major suit holdings. I don't have a 5-card major, so if I had a 5-card major, I'd bid 3 hearts or 3 spades, whichever one I had. When I've got one or both 4-card majors, and major is capital M, minor is lowercase m, I rebid 3 diamonds, okay, to let partner know, hey, I've either got hearts or spades. He has ways of continuing such that we find our 4-4 fits. Here, he didn't care, right? Because all he was interested in was whether I could bid 3 spades or not. All right, so a little more science here, keeping in mind that I have a minimum of a attractive 24 here. My partner had 8 with a 5-card suit and a singleton. All his values are concentrated in his long suits, so that's an upgrade. He wanted to insist on slam here. All right, so one kind of neat expert trick is to bid 5 no trump in an auction like this with the message being, partner, please pick a slam. Okay, I had no interest in clubs or diamonds. I offered 6 hearts just in case he was still thinking about hearts or spades. And he corrected that to 6 no trump to say, no, really, I was looking for a 5-card major with you. I had minors. Now that you're not interested in 6 of a minor, we're going to play 6 no trump. Okay, so that's all the stuff on the auction. My opponent led a 4th best club. That's pretty normal. And we're going to do the counting tricks thing here. Okay, so it appears that I have 4 clubs. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I have 2 spades for 6 black tricks. I have the ace king of hearts. We're up to 8. And I have however many diamonds that this suit produces, okay? And the diamond suit's pretty normal to play. We're going to play high from the short side first, and then we're going to finesse for the queen of diamonds. And if everything went hunky-dory, East would have queen third of diamonds, and we actually might take all the tricks here. Okay, so there's actually not too much point in trying to count, like, for the contingencies, what's going to happen in diamonds here. Well, do I have 2 or do I have 3 or 4 or 5? There's only one way to play the suit, so we're going to do that, and then we'll pause in a second to take restock of the hand. So going about our business here in diamonds, high from the short side. And when I played the 2, I got some pretty good news here in that the 10 showed up on my left. So what this means is I now have a minimum of 4 diamond tricks, right? Because even if the finesse loses here, I've got the 9 in the dummy, which would mean I'm up to 4 diamond tricks, 3 clubs, maybe 4. We'll talk about that again in a second. That would give me 7. Ace king of hearts is 9. Ace king of spades is 11. The reason I can't count for a 12th trick in clubs is because the suit's blocked. Like, the only way I can get back to the good diamonds is by overtaking my jack of clubs, which is going to compress one of my club tricks. All right, well, you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So I played the jack of diamonds, hoping that, you know, my left-hand opponent had started with queen 10x. Unfortunately, my right-hand opponent won the queen here, and we're going to pause this for just a second. Okay. Now, it turns out at this point, if West were to return a heart, it's going to break up this double squeeze that we'll be talking about in just a second, because it's going to wreck the communication between the 2 hands. I'll show that to you in just a second. What happened at a lot of tables, maybe even all the tables that played 6 no trump, was a spade came back after they won the queen of diamonds. Now, let's talk about which spade to return, and let's do a little counting with the West hand. If you'll remember, the dummy had 8, and the person on your left has advertised a minimum of 24. Okay, anytime they've shown a specific number of high card points, usually by bidding some number of no trump or rebidding some number of no trump, as soon as that dummy comes down, you want to be thinking in terms of how many points does your partner have. So here, if my left-hand opponent has 24, remember, we're talking from West's perspective here. My left-hand opponent has 24, and there's 8 in the dummy. I had queen, jack of spades, queen of diamonds, jack of hearts. Okay, that's 6 points right there. The most that my partner could possibly have is a queen. Okay, she could have a jack left, she could have a queen, she could have nothing, but she doesn't have as much of as a king here. Okay, so if we play this spade suit, it is in the full knowledge that the person on our left has the ace and the king. Okay, so we kind of, in one sense, can't afford to play a small spade because Declare could just let it run to the 10. On the other hand, knowing that North has the ace king of spades, the problem with returning one of our big spades is that if North has the 9 of spades also, that's going to create a finessing position in spades and give Declare the extra trick that way. So again, if you think about it, like from Declare's standpoint, like this is a little bit of the psychology or maybe the poker aspect of bridge. If you determine that spades is the right suit to return here, small is the right idea. If you return the queen, it gives away the show, and you'll see on this actual hand, Declare does have the 9 of spades, and you would blow up the entire spade suit and give Declare 12 tricks that way. What you would want to do if you play a spade is play low. There is no way that Declare, without looking at your hand, is going to risk letting this run to the 10. Okay, so even though you know you're getting away with something, Declare will never suspect anything here. And really, if you play spades, you ought to play low. Okay, and that actually is what happened against me. So I went up with the ace, you know, never suspecting that it could be right to let this go to the 10. It just, I'm not going to put the whole contract. I'm not going to risk it all on that. Okay, so again, let's look at our tricks now. We have 3. Remember that we're going to have to compress one of those club tricks, right? Because it's our only entry to the dummy. So 3 plus 2 clubs is 5, plus the king of spades is 6, ace king of hearts is 8, and 3 diamonds in the dummy is 11. That means we're 1 trick shy, but it also means that we have all the rest of the tricks but 1. Sometimes something cool happens when we have all the rest of the tricks but 1. And this is actually one of those hands. You might notice too that, like, if the clubs happen to be 3-3, or if the 10 of clubs came down, that's the only other big important club I'm missing, that would be a way to get 12 tricks too. So if we see the 10 of clubs at any point, we can claim. Without getting too much into squeezes, I have found it helpful to think of an end position, okay? And I've saved that on a different tab here. I'm going to show you what we want to have happen. What ultimately needs to happen in the end is that we're in the dummy having a spade threat and a club threat. Those would be the two threats in the dummy, and a long heart would be the threat in our hand, okay? So we want dummy's last three cards to be a small club, a spade, and a heart to get to our hand. So the point of those three cards, the spade is going to exert pressure on the person guarding the spade suit. The club is going to exert pressure on the person guarding the 10 of clubs. And what we hope is going on is that they both can't control hearts. Okay, so here's the end position. Hi, Ozzy. Here's the end position right here, I think. Oh, no, it didn't work when I saved the tabs. Okay, anyway, here's what we do. We're going to do something called the Vienna coup first, and that's we're going to cash the king of spades. And all this does is it basically unleashes the 10 of spades in the dummy as the threat. So now watch what happens when we cash our tricks. West can pitch diamonds. Those are no good anymore. Remember, we have to overtake the jack of clubs because that's our only entry of the dummy. West keeps on throwing diamonds. West can throw one spade, right? She still guards spades. That's fine. We can throw our spades. The 10 of spades in the dummy is the spade that's going to exert pressure on the defense. East can throw a club. Okay, but now we're going to start to feel pressure, right? West has to keep the jack of spades to cover the 10, so she throws a heart. We can go ahead and jettison our last spade from hand. And similar to West's problem where she has to hold the jack of spades, East has to hold the 10 of clubs, so she has to pitch a heart. Now, this is called the squeeze card, and it's going to exert insurmountable pressure on the defense. Same thing again. West has to keep the jack of spades, otherwise the 10 grows up. Therefore, she throws a heart. Clara throws a small heart. East has to keep the 10 of clubs, or else the 9 of clubs turns into a trick. She has to pitch a heart. What has just happened is a double squeeze. Both opponents can't guard the hearts because one of them has to keep a spade. The other one has to keep a club. We play a heart up and just cross our fingers and hope that that's what happened. And hey, it worked out, okay? We can talk maybe a little bit more about that Vienna coup here, but let's talk about the in a different video. I want to wrap this one up for today. Let's talk about the important things. We talked about the convention kokish, what problems it solves. Talked about a little bit about puppet stamen, about responder needing to know how many points opener has with the balanced hand. That's why we wanted to split our ranges into a 2-no rebid after 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, and into the 2-heart kokish thing. And we talked about the defense where you want to be using the tip that figure out how many points partner has and what that means about declare's hand. Breaking up this squeeze by returning a heart to kill the entries is a little bit too advanced probably for this video and maybe even for me to explain or completely understand myself. I think I would get it right at the table. Not 100% sure. If you were in a top level bridge game, they would get this right. They would return a heart and break up the squeeze. But it looked normal enough to return a spade, and then there's that extra point that you don't want to return the queen because that creates a finessing position. And if you return a low spade, the Claire's never going to be able to figure out that what you've actually done. She's not going to risk her entire contract letting that ride around to the 10. Hope you've enjoyed this. Go Braves in the playoffs, and great job with the attendance last night. Let's do it again tomorrow night on Thursday. See you guys soon. Hope you've enjoyed this video on double squeeze.